G'day, battlers, and with the current in-game event, the Galar region has continued to infiltrate Pokemon Go. So, on top of Galarian Stunfisk, who's absolutely dominating in the Open Great League, we also have Obstagoon, who is coming in to shake up the Sorcerous Cup in a massive way. So, before we get into that, just a reminder, if you want to keep up to date with all the goings-on in the Silph Arena and the PvP world in general, go ahead and subscribe below for more coming out over the next month and onwards. So, with that out of the way though, let's get into Obstagoon. So, Obstagoon is a new Pokemon added to the evolution line of Galarian Zigzagoon and Galarian Linoone, who's actually also PvP viable. It's ranked 18th in the Sorcerous Cup and ranked 180th in the Great League, but the real splash is coming from Obstagoon, who's coming in at number 3 in the Sorcerous Cup, number 3, and a respectable number 32 in the Open Great League. And these are all from PvPoke, by the way. So yeah, Obstagoon has got a dark and normal typing, which is already like very unique, but it gives it a massive weakness of fighting types, but then gives it some massive advantages, which we'll get over in a little bit, in a couple of minutes when we go through the matchups. So moving on to the moveset though, Obstagoon has access to both Counter and Lick as the quick moves, which are both really good in PvP, but for Sorcerous Cup and the Open Great League, you're going to want to be going for the Counter. Just has massive raw damage, it has pretty good energy generation also, and really just lets you dominate in a bunch of matchups, but again, we'll save that for like a minute right after we go over the charge moves. So Obstagoon has 4 available charge moves. We've got Night Slash, Cross Chop, Hyper Beam, and Gunk Shot. Hyper Beam is just all around not a great move, so if you can avoid it, you should, so we'll rule that out pretty fast. Night Slash allows it to hit super effectively ghost types, which is, I mean, it's also super resisting ghost type attacks with the dark and normal typing, so Night Slash alongside Cross Chop, which backs up your counter with additional fighting type damage when you need a little bit more of a punch. That's kind of the main moveset that you want to be going for. There's definitely a case, in my opinion, to be made for Gunk Shot, because, I mean, you're going to be hitting things that aren't expecting to be hit with something that's going to be super effective. Like, you might be up against a fairy, and you'll go, oh, this is going to be a Night Slash, but then you hit it with the Gunk Shot, and then it's like, oh, that was a little uncool. So yeah, just something for a little bit more future experimentation, but for this video we're going to be sticking to the recommended moveset of Counter with Night Slash and Cross Chop. So let's see how it does, and I mean, yeah, let's see what it can actually do. So first we're going to go through Obstagoon in the Sorcerous Cup and then in the Open Great League. If you aren't interested in one or the other, you can hover over the progress bar of the video down the bottom, and it should be split up into sections so that you can go to exactly where you'd like to in the video. But starting us off, Obstagoon in the Sorcerous Cup. So in the one shield matchup here, you'll probably recognize this format of the video from a couple of videos ago when I did Wobbuffet, so if you actually want to check that out too, that's also up the top there. But yeah, going over quickly, in the one shield matchup, Obstagoon takes out all of Linoone, Haunter, Alolan Raticate, Bronzong, Glalie, Munchlax, Lickitung, Licky, Alolan Sandslash, Hypno-Cilio, Claydol, Alolan Muck, Noctowl, and Frostlass. So you'll notice that those wins all come under just a couple of different categories. So there's normal types who have ghost quick moves, so that's Linoone, Munchlax, Lickitung, Licky. They're going to be taking super effective damage from Counter, but they're also going to be doing like super ultra mega resist damage to Obstagoon. So it literally has a times 0.244 multiplier, so it's doing less than a quarter damage. So I mean, yeah, they're not doing much. So then there's also the confusion users who aren't hitting too hard due to the dark typing and are getting hit back with super effective Night Slashes. Then there's also ice types around, so there's like Cilio and Alolan Sandslash there, and Alolan Sandslash is actually extra weak because of the steel typing. I should actually mention also that the top left on this little infographic is the Pokemon that Obstagoon can beat the most, so it's like the easiest to win, and the Pokemon on the bottom right is the kind of closest win, or on the loss side it's the hardest loss. So that's just kind of how this is formatted. But yeah, when you have the closest win up against Frostlass, and Frostlass is an interesting case. So obviously it's like, oh, Obstagoon beats Frostlass, that's heaps good. Like, you need to beat Frostlass in this cup. Frostlass is a monster, but it's not quite so clear cut. Frostlass can actually win with some different IV sets. So Obstagoon, usually with the default IVs in PvPoke, Obstagoon basically just goes straight Night Slash and then takes down Frostlass with only 2 Powder Snows of health left over, basically. So if Frostlass were to, like, I don't know, get 2 extra Powder Snows on of damage, then Obstagoon is out. And also, if you have an attack-weighted Obstagoon, you're going to lose that matchup. So it's definitely a kind of iffy situation. Don't count on it beating Frostlass, but just know that it could beat Frostlass. So yeah, take that for what you will. But onto the losses. So going from the closest losses to the totally dominated, we've got Skuntank, Tentacruel, Golbat, Victreebel, Venusaur, Alolan Ninetales, Wigglytuff, Azumarill, Clefable, Granbull, Toxicroak, and Medicham. So naturally, the worst matchups for Obstagoon are going to be the fighters because of the super duper weakness to fighting with its dual weak typing, followed by the Charmers, who are crushing it with their super effective damage also, and they're not really scared of anything that Obstagoon has, unless it has that gunk shot, but yeah, that's something to experiment with later on. Discussion for another day, but it actually might prove to increase the appearance of fairies in the Sorcerous Cup, just Obstagoon existing, because it kind of gives the fairies like another really useful role. I mean, Obstagoon is number 3 in the meta, so if the fairies are able to take out another super good Pokemon in the cup, I think you're definitely going to start to see some more fairies running around now. So definitely got some pros and cons of Obstagoon, but you'll certainly be seeing it around in your Sorcerous Cup tournaments this month, so just know what it can do, basically. So onto the Open Great League. It's definitely a much wider meta here in the Open Great League, so this image is a little bit busier than the last one, but we'll go through it anyway, just the same. So same as the last image, Pokemon in the top corner are the easiest wins, and the Pokemon in the bottom right are the hardest losses. So quickly, Obstagoon wins in the One Shield matchup up against Probopass, Haunter, Ferrothorn, Bastiodon, Umbreon, Alolan Raichu, Hypno, Shiftry, Sableye, Jirachi, Alolan Marowak, Dugong, Whiscash, Skarmory, Meganium, and Frostlass. So similar to the Sorcerous Cup, there's a few different kinds of Pokemon here. There's like the types that are weak to counter, such as Probopass and Bastiodon, that just aren't really doing much damage back. Then there's the Ghost types, who are doing less than a quarter of damage with their Ghost moves because of the Dark Normal typing, as we said before, and they're also getting hit back with big damage from the Night Slash. So I've also got Confusion users, like there's Hypno and Jirachi there, just under it. They're doing resisted damage while also getting hit with that super effective Night Slash. So it also closes off that Frostlass matchup that we mentioned at the end of the Sorcerous Cup video. So it's going to be IV dependent. You kind of want a bulkier Obstagoon to kind of more solidify that matchup, I guess. But yeah, it's going to depend. So going into the losses, we've got Stunfisk, Swampert, Cresselia, Registeel, Galvantula, Altaria, Mantine, Tropius, Venusaur, Melmetal, Vigoroth, Wigglytuff, Defense, Deoxys, Scrafty, Azumarill, Clefable, Toxicroak, and Medicham. So again, exactly the same as the Sorcerous Cup. The Fighters and the Charmers are absolutely destroying it, taking 2.56 extra times damage from counter and still 1.6 times multiplier damage from Charm. So that is absolutely melt Obstagoon. Yeah, Obstagoon's going to be gone if he sees any of those. So there are those other steel types on the list that are actually on the lose side, unlike Bastiodon and Probopass. So Registeel and Melmetal are over there, but the difference that sets them apart is the fact that they have fighting charge moves. So Registeel has Focus Blast, and then Melmetal has Super Power, so they can hit for massive damage back, basically. So the counters just don't come out on top. I should actually also mention that Obstagoon is going to lose to both of the Swampert and Tropius movesets that are kind of the big ones in the meta. So you know, your Razor Leaf Tropius or Air Slash Tropius, and then Swampert, whether it's got Sludge Wave or not, is going to be losing regardless. So overall, Obstagoon can definitely make a big splash and will almost certainly force you to account for it in some way if you haven't already. But that's Obstagoon in both the Sorcerous Cup and in the Open Great League. So I think it's probably time that we try and get our hands on one as soon as possible with an dark normal type away of the competition. Thank you for watching this video. As rudimentary as it looks, it did take a number of hours to make, so don't forget to show your support for content like this by hitting the like button so that it gets pushed to more people. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date with all the stuff going on in PvP world. And thanks for watching. And thank you to my patrons, NotRandyN3wman, 58, brajSF, -10, NotRandyN3wman and Yahwertle, for supporting the channel because they are the super coolest ever. And yes, see you in the next video. Keep an eye on the YouTube community tab and Twitter for live stream announcement. Okay, bye.